6.
I think you made it 6-2, but I think it's an over game because of playing in Toronto.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rockin' dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grandview Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grandview Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grandview Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. This is Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. I'm Alex White alongside Kenny White, a father-daughter duo for another day in a row. I hope Jeff feels better for tomorrow's show. A little bit different for us. Yesterday, we were kind of running through games. We had Brady Cannon. We appreciate him. Talk about PGA Championship. And we had 20 or 21 games to talk about today. 3 baseball games already underway, and we have 3 to get to. That'll be second half. We have 3 total games for playoffs, too. So we'll do a little bit of recap here. Let's start with the NHL, starting with the Oilers, who advanced to the Western Conference for the second year in a row. They beat Golden Knights 1-0 in overtime. A brutal way to go out, I have to say, right? When it's 0-0 in regulation, you have a chance you're alive that whole game and then have to lose it in overtime. So give me your overall for these 2 teams and the Oilers moving on. And then I want to talk to you about a little bit of a perception thing for these 2 and this series coming into it.
Yeah, I said it's a tough way to go out, losing 1-0 at home. Obviously, the defense was there. I was looking at numbers throughout the game, and they were holding Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid down to nothing. They were not allowing those guys anything. And they were on the ice the most of anybody. I was just, looking at ice time, and I noticed, Mark Stone didn't play for the Golden Knights, and that definitely hurts because he's such a good playmaker and he's a great defensive player. So they stepped up defensively without him, but they just couldn't get it between the pipes, and Skinner, 24 saves, gets the shutout. The Oilers have that experience, and here they are back in the finals. So they're definitely a dangerous team because they've been there before and done it. So they're waiting on that Winnipeg-Dallas winner.
Ooh, so it looks like we are kind of on course to have a rematch of last year with Dallas and the Oilers. Of course, the Oilers went on to win that one and then face the Panthers, which is kind of funny. That might be happening as well, right? The Panthers lose to the Golden Knights, come back the next year, beat the Oilers. Now the Oilers may be on their way to winning, and their odds are just shortening as it goes on. I want to ask you, though, with perception, because I think you can get kind of caught up, and a lot of the talk going into that series with the Oilers and the Knights was the Minnesota Wild just had a great game plan for the Knights, right? And it was a tough series for them. On the other side, it was the Kings collapsed, but it might have been complete opposite because the Golden Knights really didn't look like themselves against the Wild and haven't been playing their best hockey. And then on the other side, the Oilers beat a really good team in the Los Angeles Kings. They were the best home team throughout the entire regular season. They had to come back from an 0-2 hole, win 4 in a row. So it's almost like flip-flopped, right? And the books opened the Oilers the favorite, and it immediately flip-flopped to the Knights being the favorite, which they did have home ice. But, I mean, in the end, to win 4-1 in that series, very impressive for Edmonton. And a lot comes down to momentum, right? Who is really riding that wave throughout the playoffs?
I didn't really hear any of the chatter about the Kings collapsing, and obviously they didn't play well, they didn't get the wins, but I don't know. I just go game by game and I adjust each team and how they're playing. So I didn't hear any of that chatter, but the Oilers are very, very good. The Knights are an outstanding team and an organization, and they've shown it all year. Record wise, 50 and 22 on the year with 10 ties. There were, points. So it was a really good year for the Golden Knights. And
yes,
they were right there. I mean, a lot of these games are one play, and it's, the difference maker. The Knights came storming back in game 2 when they were down 2 goals to tie it and had all the momentum and looked like they were going to win it. And then they didn't. And that's kind of what happened last night too. So, it's just you got good hockey teams. This happens. Only one team can win. Like, there's 30 in the league or 32 hockey teams in the league, whatever the number is in the NHL. Only one can be the champion, and you're going to get knocked out. So Golden Knights are done for the year, but it's a good organization, good team. The one thing that I'm going to take a positive out of this is I've been winning all my bets with the Oilers over at home and under on the road. And I'm going to do that in the next series as well.
That is, you have to kind of look for the angles, right, and how you can bet them. It just gets so hard in the playoffs. The surprising thing to me, I guess, is just that, I said it too, we're probably not going to have a round 2 like that round 1, but I wasn't expecting so many 3-1s. I thought they'd be a lot tighter than they are. So in the West, Winnipeg won the series over the Blues 4-3. So that game went to game 7. Dallas 4-3 against the Avs, and then the Knights 4-2 and Edmonton 4-2. So I'm just kind of surprised that we have so many 3-1s, and we have another one tonight, and we'll start right there with the West here with Winnipeg trying to.
Do you want to recap the Panthers?
You want to? Okay, let's go.
Might as well finish the recap.
Moving over to the East, and it was kind of either a no-show for Toronto or this Florida team. It might even be better than the Florida team last year. It was a dominating win by them over the Maple Leafs at home for Toronto there. So 6-1 win for Florida in that one, and now it goes back to Florida with the Panthers up 3-2.
Yeah, it was a dominating performance. Toronto had no chance, it looked like, and I was just wondering how many people were left in the stands when it was 6-0. Everybody's going to, head for the exits and get out of there early.
A reporter did ask Austin Matthews that and said, how does it feel when, fans are leaving? And I think his response was, well, we didn't really give them a reason to stay. So they know that. And this is an embarrassment factor. And now it's a home revenge factor, and that'll
we'll have to add that into the lines. But obviously, when you're adjusting your ratings on this, we bet Toronto last night and we had no shot. So it looks like maybe the Panthers are maybe a little better than what we have them. And we know the Leafs are good. They were 52-26 this year. So they had the better record between these two teams, and they were a great home team. Panthers were an average away team all year long, but dominated against Tampa Bay. And now they go on the road and they beat Toronto at Toronto. So we'll see Game 6. And I know what you're saying. You were talking about some of these teams getting beat up. We haven't had a Game 7. I don't know if we've had any Game 7s. Maybe we had one in the first round. Yeah, but this round we haven't had anything close. Maybe this will be the series. Maybe Dallas Winnipeg will be the series. We can get that Game 7. So you'll make adjustments on the power ratings, and then have to use that home revenge for Toronto in Game 6. They need to go down to Miami and get the job done.
I would love a Game 7. Canes Caps, I thought that one was going to be a long series, and that's another one that, we've got a 3-1 lead here for Carolina. So we will see. But I like that revenge factor. I would love to, look at the Leafs to have that home revenge and maybe push that to a Game 7. Tonight, though, you want to go to those?
Yeah, let's do tonight.
Now we'll just stay right there in the East, and that works with rotation number 2 because we got Carolina minus 170 here at the South Point on the road to close this out against Washington. Total 5.5 under minus 120. So if you like over 5.5, you're getting even money there. This is a tough handicap because really, the Canes are just pesky and annoying, and they've figured the Caps out, and they've taken away what they do well. They've made it very hard for them to create any offense, and so it's tough. But I have to go back to the Caps here, getting that good price at home to try and extend this series. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and defense has been the key to this series. Obviously, for the Hurricanes, they'll have 1 goal, 3 goals, a shutout, and then allowed 2. So the defense has been great for Carolina. They're smothering, and I got a feeling this is going to be the same type of game. It's just going to be a defensive battle and a war. Washington needs to get out in front, get the lead, and hold on for dear life probably because Carolina attacks, and they keep attacking. So I like it under, and I'm very willing to bet Washington at home here. I always say the toughest game is the closeout game, getting it closed out. Edmonton did it last night, but it wasn't easy, and it's not going to be easy here for Carolina. This is going to be a tough spot. These guys are thinking about it. They think one more win and we're moving on to the conference championship, and they think that, and that's when you start thinking that you're kind of telling yourself, we're there, we're going there. And you haven't done it yet. And Washington's got their backs to the wall. They know they can't lose again. I think you're going to get a great effort from them tonight. I think the price plus $1.50 with teams who I think are very comparable. I really do. I don't think Carolina's that much better than Washington. So I like the Capitals a lot better than I like the total. But I am going to bet it under because the first 2 games in Washington were easy unders.
I am curious what we are getting maybe first period with the Capitals because I do expect them to
come out energized.
Definitely. So if it is a plus price there too, maybe splitting up the unit, taking Caps first period and then Caps full game.
It's amazing for the entire season. Shows you how good the Hurricanes are. They were $1.60 favorite on median numbers for the entire year. 40 road games. That was their median number. So there was obviously some games that were $2, some games that were $1.40 or $1.30. Could have been, they could have been a dog as too. I bet they weren't a dog very often though on the road, which is amazing.
Well, and let me tell you what their record was on the road.
Oh, it was a losing record.
It was a losing record, 16-21-4.
Yeah. No,
so you didn't win money if you were laying that price, taking Carolina on the road.
Yeah, you got destroyed laying the price of Carolina on the road, but that just shows how strong they are. Washington at home, minus $1.53. So that's what I'm saying. Those prices are really close. It's hard to say Carolina should be this big of a favorite over Washington. They were a solid favorite all year in their home games, and they had a great home record. And you had Logan Thompson, his home record. So I like Washington tonight. Obviously, I'll say it right now. It's going to make the whiteboard.
Yes, let's go Caps. Extend this series for us. Let's go to the next one here with Winnipeg at home as a small favorite, -120 over Dallas. And the total is 5.5 also, but juiced to the over here. The difference here is Dallas has really dominated and Winnipeg's really struggled against their top line. We've seen a lot of goals come from that top line in the last 3 games or so. But the last time they played in Winnipeg was our shutout, right? Where Hellebuck looked really good at home. So now here we are. Another one, 3-1 though, for this series as well.
And he was far better. Hellebuck was far better in game 4. Did a much better job. 3-1 loss, tough game on the road. Again, Dallas is thinking, hey, one more win, we're moving on to the Western Conference Finals. I think you get another solid effort. It's another game that I think is an under game. That's the way Winnipeg plays at home. They play low. And I think they should be the favorite. And I think I think the price is a little light. And there's been money for Winnipeg. Doesn't help me or, hurt me. I guess it hurts me a little more than anything because the price got a little bit higher. But I think Winnipeg's the play. And under here. I might be more confident in the under, though, with these two goaltenders.
I agree, especially the first 2 games in Winnipeg. Stars won 3-2, and then the Jets 4-0. So staying under that 5.5. And then really, the last game 4, was also another underplay. So I agree. Hellebuck back at home. I think that's the best play here. And if we would have got a better number, you're right, but we don't even have a 25-cent difference here unless we're adding in the desperation.
Yeah, you're going to add in, yeah, and trying to close the series out. It's tough to do. It's a real thing, and you get a little overconfident. You get overconfident up 3-1. Florida got overconfident last year up 3-0. Yeah. They were up 3-0 and they let 3 games get away in a row, and that happens. And that's what people have to realize when they watch and they go, wow, this team they have done everything they can do. The Dallas knows exactly how to beat Winnipeg. Last year, same thing. Florida knew how to beat Edmonton and they knew how to stop their offense. But then all of a sudden Edmonton made adjustments and they win 3 in a row. And the championship game was close. It was close, that game 7. I think Winnipeg makes a run here. They had a great season, great at home, and I hope both these go to game 7s.
Yes.
It'd be nice to have 2 game 7s here.
Let's take a look at the odds to win the Stanley Cup. They are right behind us on the screen here. These are the South Point odds. So going down the list here, the Oilers are the favorite now, plus 260. Panthers plus 280. The Stars 3-1. Carolina plus 320, who they were the favorite coming into this. And then you get some pretty big prices here. Of course, all these teams. Well, actually, Toronto 3-2 for their series. So that's not a bad price there if you like the Maple Leafs to come back. But Jets and Capitals have a tougher road to get through this series.
Yeah, they have to win 3 in a row. It's a 6-1 parlay, maybe even higher than that for Washington. That's probably 10-1 just to win this series.
Yeah.
But if they do, if you're a Caps fan or a Jets fan and your team comes back and they win 3 in a row, the game 7, they're at home. So if they steal one on the road in game 6, they're back at home, and home teams normally win game 7s. The opponent that they're going to play in the next round is going to be out for 10 days, just doing nothing, practicing, waiting, and getting stale and rusty. And that's going to be a big benefit for if the Jets or Caps can make a run, they might steal game 1 in the next series because they're playing playoff hockey and the other team would be rusty. So those are rest versus rust, but I think it's more rust than anything.
Those are both 1 seeds right there, getting those big prices. But
Washington and Winnipeg.
That's correct.
Yeah, look at the bottom. They're 1 seeds. It's a lot of times the regular season doesn't mean a ton when it comes to playoff time.
And I heard a lot of people say that going into the playoffs that they weren't true believers in those teams if they were playoff type of teams, and it's looking to be the case. I still like the Caps a lot. Do you worry with the whole Alex Ovechkin chase and beating that record that they have kind of ran out of gas here?
I don't know. I think they were having fun doing it, and
yeah.
it I don't know. I don't think they were winning games during it, so it wasn't like they were losing games. They were winning games. They were having fun, and that's kind of what they need to get back to, maybe a little bit, and figure out a way to, have some fun here tonight. I'm going to bet both of them, Winnipeg and the Capitals. I think maybe more of a rollover parlay. So if I was going to make a future bet and I was going to make a 1% future bet on these teams, could bet 0.5% on tonight's game and then keep rolling it over.
Right.
Like I said, Washington, if to win 3 in a row here at these prices, it may be more than 10-1 that you're going to get. And then you can roll that over to the next series and take a shot with the Capitals, getting all the way there. And at that point, when you're doing a rollover, you don't have to, you can stop at any time when you've made a fairly decent profit. You don't have to hedge.
Right.
You don't have a ticket that says you have to win it all. So I think looking at those prices, I'd love, let me go take 35-1 on Winnipeg and 65-1 on Washington. But right now, I know I got to win 3 in a row. So it's a 3-team parlay and then win the next series. I may be able to get those type of prices close to it. Just if they get to the Stanley Cup Finals by rolling over.
Right.
So we'll see.
And then for you, even just looking at those prices, those 4 shorter odds there with the Oilers being the favorite right now, you would just go off of your power ratings.
Yes.
And so there's nothing that.
And you got Carolina the highest. I think the highest rated team in the NHL. So that'll be a great series, Panthers and Carolina, if that's, how it ends up.
Panthers and Carolina.
Yeah.
In the East. And then we'd have to see. Couple notes from the chat and some plays that they like either tonight or moving forward. But Joey B thinks Carolina closes it out tonight against the Caps, and he also thinks the Leafs are done for the year. Risen Wave, haven't seen him except for this week, so welcome back. Under 1.5 first period for Carolina and Washington. So don't mind that for either game, really.
Well, $1.50 favorite, 60% of the people you ask are going to say Carolina's going to close out the series. That's what the odds are meant to do. They're meant to split the money, but they also sometimes split the public perception of a game. Carolina being that big a favorite, people are going to think that, but that's why the sports books make a lot of money. It's better to be on the dog than it is the favorite anytime.
Plus 1.5, that is way too big right there. Minus 175. If you like Carolina, you'd have to look at the puck line as well, which we saw with the Oilers yesterday. That's a tough.
Well, it's a
tough ask as well.
Yeah. Carolina, such a good defensive hockey team. They get the lead. They can sit on it. Obviously, an open net goal is a possibility, but it's not a deficit. Definite. Yeah. I like the price. Give me Washington plus that bigger price, and I'll take my shot with them.
So we'll take a look. Jeff and I will take a look at the Conn Smythe odds tomorrow to see where those have moved. So anybody who is interested in that will be on tomorrow's show. But let's go to the NBA. We have one game tonight, one game tomorrow. You won't be here tomorrow, so I do want to get your thoughts on that one. Looking at yesterday, the Boston Celtics are not dead without Jason Tatum. Big 127-102 win over the Knicks. We knew they were deep. We saw a lot of players step up in that role. Jaylen Brown, we talked about him. Outstanding game for him. So now New York with a 3-2 lead in that series, and they will play tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden. Try and close out that series. Pacers, of course, are waiting for the winner of that. Timberwolves get the job done, and if you had 10.5 like me, that was a tough beat. Timberwolves win 121-111 over the Warriors. Tough for Steph Curry, who was trying to get healthy to come back to help them in that one. Takeaways from either of those with the Celtics. Did you like what you saw? How they played without Tatum? And then with the Timberwolves now waiting, and they will be playing in the Western Conference Finals for the second year in a row.
Yeah, Boston, it's not just Tatum. Kristaps Porzingis has not been himself. He started, he played 12 minutes, but did not play well. And they went to a little smaller lineup. Peyton Pritchard played quite a bit. They shot the three, the 2 games in a row now. They're back on, where they're supposed to be. This is obviously a series that I had, the over major differences in my numbers to what the over were in the first couple of games. I was very fortunate, got there in overtime in game 1. Game 2 was way under. Game 3 went under. And then it finally came back to what, where I had projected this early before the series started, that these were going to be high scoring games. And New York wins 121-113. There were quite a few points scored in the last 2 minutes. I think there was 15 points scored in that last 2 minutes of game 4. And then last night, 127-102. So another very high scoring game. I think they got a good contribution out of everybody. And we saw Jaylen Brown really distribute the basketball.
Yeah.
So that was a big help. And they stepped up, fallen soldier. Everybody else stepped up. Now they got to try to figure out how to do it on the road. Much more difficult. But again, it was a closeout game. Knicks are trying to close it out, and they got hammered in that one. If the Celtics hit their threes in Madison Square Garden, we could be going back and we could see a game 7 here in the East.
It would get very, very interesting at that point. On the West, I mentioned Timberwolves complete that series, close it out in 5. They win by 11. Thoughts on that? If you look at the box score for Minnesota, pretty impressive with all of their starters being in double-digit points. Anthony Edwards had 12 assists in that one yesterday, so very team-dominant win for them over Golden State.
Yeah, I made money on the game because I saw what was happening, but I saw Golden State. I think they were down 15 at the end of 3, and I said, this basketball team's not giving up. They're not going to give up. I don't care what anybody says. They're not going to roll over. And I took 15.5 with them, and I thought that was a great bet at that point. I got off the total a little bit because they were running. Minnesota was running, which was very surprising. I was shocked at the pace. It was 100 in the first half. So up and down the court. I still looked over these lineups, and I looked them over what I have them rated, and then I went to another website that I really respect that not a lot of people use because it's very expensive to use that website. They've got power ratings and player ratings like I do, and theirs matched up very close to what I had. They thought that Minnesota should have been about 6.5 in this game without Curry. So, I looked at their player ratings, and they matched up very close. There was a slight edge to Minnesota and being at home. That's just, it's always going to be, it's why we play the game, because sometimes you don't have a good shooting night. The night before, Golden State shot really well from 3. Last night they shot 28% from 3, 49%. Oh, and there you go. Minnesota effective field goal percentage, 71%.
Yes.
They just couldn't miss. Bring them back down to earth and give them their normal shooting for that game, and Golden State wins the game and goes back home, and Steph Curry's playing. But Minnesota could not miss, and this is not a bad defensive team. These are all good defensive players. Butler and Green are outstanding defensive players, but Zemski is a seriously solid defensive guard. Buddy Hield, average at best. Kuminga's little above average at best. So they got a couple guys on the bench that can play defense. So they didn't lose anything defensively losing Curry.
Right.
It just so happened Minnesota couldn't miss. That's going to revert back to the mean.
72 points in the paint for Minnesota. No matter which matchup they have coming up here, whether it's the Thunder or the Nuggets, I don't think they'll have that. I don't think it'll be that easy for them.
Oh, no. No, it's going to be either Denver or Oklahoma City is better than Minnesota. Both teams are better than Minnesota.
Let's go to that game tonight. OKC, 4.5-point favorite on the road. I saw some 5s yesterday, so it looks like people are taking the points here with the Nuggets. Total 217. Now, was this the one you like Denver? You like unders when it's at Denver?
I made my adjustment. The 2 games at Denver went way under, and right away when the total was put up, money came in on the under. And I don't blame them for that. The game 1 and game 2 in Oklahoma City, the pace was 104. Game 3, it dropped to a 94. Game 4, it was a 94. And then last night, I believe it was a 98 pace in Oklahoma City. So they didn't get back. They didn't get back to that 104 pace. So somebody's slowing the pace down. I got to believe it's Denver. I'm not watching the games. I'm just crunching numbers. So to me, it looks like Denver is trying to slow this pace. They don't want to get up and down. It's easier to control a pace at home. I made an adjustment on my number a little bit bigger than what I would, but I still have an overplay at this price. And I don't mind going over. I made it 224. I think I made game 3 234. I'm down 10 points. The two games in Denver went way, way under this. So I understand the money under, but they still have serious scoring. These guys can score. Jokic can put up 40 points, and Murray can put up 30, and the rest of the cast puts up points. Denver's going to get 110, 115 in this game.
This total has been all over the place. I'm just kind of realizing that because in my notes, I have 214. Right now it's 217. So that was yesterday. But then really diving into it, I mean, it
was down to 214?
Yes, it was down to 214.
So it went that low. Well, that makes good sense why it came back, because that's just too low.
Yeah.
That's just too low.
You just would have liked to have that number.
Yeah, I see. Wow, here at the South Point, I actually see as low as 212.5. I do see a 212.5, 213, 212.5. That was yesterday afternoon. Oh, nope, yesterday morning. As we were on the show, it was 212.5 and then worked its way back up. So somebody, smart move, could have been a dummy move, which it was, that they bet it under, knowing that if they made a big move on it, the others would follow and say, man, they're right. Look at what happened in game 3 and game 4. They were so low scoring of games. They were still 94 possessions. It wasn't an 85 possession game. They didn't shoot well. They have a lot of scorers on this team. So, they're going to get me. I'm going to go over, but again, it's a small play. It's a 1% play.
Any thoughts on the side? Of course, Thunder 3-2 lead in this series, trying to close it out, and Nuggets at home here getting points.
Oklahoma City's just so much better. But you do have, it's a strong home court. It's a very experienced Denver basketball team. They've won a championship. They got the best player on the court. So, yeah, it's going to be a battle. I have Oklahoma City 4.5, exactly what the line is. So I have nothing there. But I do think we'll get those points because there's too many scorers on both teams.
So over for you. Somebody in the chat actually needs the under. Maybe you guys have different numbers and you can both be winners there. But Roger Long thinks OKC is the only team standing between Indy and the title. So we'll get to that. Pacers, of course, waiting to see who they will play in the Eastern Conference Finals. But Pacers have been a little underrated, undervalued coming into this postseason,
yes.
Would you say?
Yeah, I would. They're a good, really good basketball team. I like them. I was actually looking yesterday trying to make a case for them that I was ready to take plus 105 to win it all, to win it all right now.
Nah, I think that you were looking at Thunder.
No, okay. So
team.
Maybe it was 105 to win the East. I'm sorry, plus 105 to win the East. I was looking at that. I was thinking if I could get a plus price, I made my numbers and I made them a small favorite to win the East. Maybe I made them $1.15. Yeah. And so if I can get a plus price, I'm going to take it. And then I saw, it's only 105. It is a plus price, but I was hoping I could get $1.20, $1.15 in that range on the other side. So It wasn't quite where I wanted it, but I was looking to bet the Pacers.
Potentially an exacta out there with the Thunder and the Pacers.
Yeah, that wouldn't be that would be a really nice, I think that's a very good exacta.
Okay. Would you go both?
Thunder are just so good.
You would take Thunder to beat the Pacers?
Team, yeah.
Or would you take a piece of both?
No, I would take the Thunder to beat the Pacers. They're a better basketball team. Yeah.
We'll have to look for those. We do have our just to win the NBA Finals odds right here, so we'll just take a quick look at those. We did take a look yesterday as well. So OKC minus 150 odds on favorite, Timberwolves plus 450, the Knicks 6-1, Pacers 7-1, 20-1, and 28-1. So Nuggets, man, it's 28-1. Even with the Boston Celtics missing Jason Tatum, that's pretty incredible. But that team is just pretty loaded, so I do understand that. We're going to take a quick break, unless you have any more thoughts on NHL and NBA.
No, it's just the one game tonight with you.
One game tonight, yeah. Do you have any?
Yeah,
let's talk about Celtics going to New York tomorrow.
Yeah, because I won't be here. I have the Celtics a 1-point favorite in the game. 214.5, leaning to the over, 5-point difference. It's enough for me to make a 1% play on the over, and I'll go over. They shot it well. I worry about Porzingis. I still have him in the lineup, and again, he only played 12 minutes, so I should probably take 1.5 off for him because he hasn't done anything. And I think the Knicks should probably be a 1-point favorite. They're 2.5 right now, so. I really have no difference on the side. A little bit of maybe a lean to the Celtics. Love to see a game 7.
Yeah, 2.5's not really enough to jump in there. No cushion, right? You might as well just take them to win that game. Get the plus 115. I mean, I guess it is a little cushion, but so over.
A little bit.
You do like the over?
I think if you like the Celtics to wait, that this could just go up.
Yeah.
I think people are thinking the Knicks are going to close out this series. They're at home now, but again, remember, that's the hardest one to get, that closeout game. So Celtics are not going to give up. They bonded together without Tatum, and they played a great game without him. And they have enough guys. White and Brown are 2 scorers, and Pritchard off the bench, he can score. They have players, so they're gonna make it tough on the Knicks here in this game. They're gonna battle them.
Okay, there it is. 209.5 is the total, and the Knicks a 2.5-point favorite at home. We'll dive into that more tomorrow. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to go through the 3 baseball games. We'll give you the updated scores, maybe look at a little PGA standings, and then we'll take a look at the pennant odds for AL and NL and see if anything jumps out, because you did mention you already made a bet earlier this week, so we'll go over that on the other side when we do our baseball segment coming up next.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books, 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the Racebook. Over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Sports by the Book. We are live at the South Point. Kenny White. I'm Alex White. Happy to be here with you on this Thursday. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do. And then you can jump in the chat. Love to hear from everybody in there. And if you have any questions for us, today is a great day, slower day. So we will get to those as well. Baseball, do you have updated scores for us with the 3 games going on right now?
I sure do.
Twins come in today on a 10-game winning streak, and now their game is already going. What do we have?
Middle of the 4th, the Twinkies up 3-0 over the Orioles, trying to extend this winning streak. I had a feeling that, after sweeping a doubleheader yesterday, they maybe are a little lethargic today, but then I thought, you know what? No, with the 10-game winning streak, they won. They're probably businesslike, and they went back. They had something to eat. They got some rest, and we got an early morning game tomorrow. We can't be going out tonight. And I think they did what they had to do, and they were prepared to play here today in this game, it looks like so far. So good start. Chris Paddock pitching for the Twins. His numbers don't look great, but if you go back and look at his game logs, he got beat up in his first game. They give you up 9 earned runs in 2 1/3. So his ERA is drastically overinflated. Hitters are hitting just 190 against him in his last 3 starts.
Wow.
That's, he's been sharp, and it looks like he's sharp again today. Atlanta Braves.
Besides Paddock, though, I mean, really, it's Joe Ryan, and we saw Bailey Ober. And
yeah, Bailey Ober's been really good.
Woods Richardson, and then Pablo Lopez. So not the, most terrifying.
Yeah, not the biggest names
of pitching stuff,
but good stuff. Bailey Ober's got really good stuff, and I like Pablo Lopez too. I think he's got good stuff. Paddock's just a journeyman. He pitched overseas for many years and came back here to the big leagues, and he's a guy that's going to give you innings. I don't think he's ever going to dominate, but he's going to give you innings, and that's what they want right now. So
let me ask you one more thing about this, because. And Ryan told me before the show, Twins are the first team this year to hit a 10 in a row winning streak.
Okay.
When do you jump off? Because kind of like you said with the rollover here, you're riding this streak.
Yeah, I don't roll over.
No,
I'm not parlaying it either. Some people do. You can do that, but I'm
you're just betting it, same unit size every day.
Well, a little bit. I go up a little bit more each game, but I want to make sure that when they lose, I'm going to walk away with a profit.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm using those streaks to give me an edge to stay in my process.
Yeah.
And bet it. But most people are just going to bet it. And, you can use, I talked about the blackjack, double up 1, 3, 7, 15, 31. You just got to win 5 in a row and you win 56 units. So, in blackjack, you could use that in sports as well. In a situation with a team after they win 3 in a row, you would get off. You wouldn't double up again after you win your 5 bets, which would have been an 8-game winning streak. So if you would have kept doubling up, you would have been at the point where you were up 119 units, and then if you've been doubling up, you'd be up 246 units right now. But you'd have, and then when do you stop? Like you said, when do you stop? So that's why you have to pick a spot to stop. I think it's after you catch 5 straight winners. If you're playing that double up type of parlay system, I don't suggest it. I've been on the Twins almost every game now in this after they won 3 in a row because I adjust my number to come up with a number. Now, if I adjusted my number and it doesn't say I have a play, I would pass.
Okay. Fair enough.
So Twins, though, again today, were a play. So glad they're up 3-1.
Any other updates? Braves
4-0, top of 4.
Wow.
AJ Smith-Shawver looks like he's spot on. He's pitched well. A couple starts in a row now. He's pitched very, very well. Trevor Williams, a journeyman. He was the fourth starter at Arizona State. He was their midweek guy, Tuesday, Wednesday guy for a couple of years, ended up getting drafted, worked his way up. And, he had a really good year, I think, last year, the year before, but he's been well below average. So Braves got to him today.
And then last, the Reds, they needed this. They're up 5-0 over the White Sox, trying to avoid a sweep from Chicago here.
I made a small bet on, I'm like probably a 0.2% bet, 0.1%. My bet on the White Sox today, because I've won with them the last couple days. Actually hit a nice parlay with them and under yesterday. My number said it. I said I'll stick with it. But they were going for a 4-game sweep. I don't know the last time the White Sox have had a 4-game sweep. But the Reds surely came out today and said, you know what, we're not gonna be the laughing stock of Major League Baseball and losing 4 straight at home to the White Sox. They were prepared to come out to play today.
3 more to get to. Let's start off in rotation order here with the Tampa Bay Rays and Toronto Blue Jays. I think I'm going right back to it. Good play for me yesterday. Rays and Blue Jays under 8. Final was 3-1. I also like the Toronto side. Kind of lean that way again today, but I don't think I like it at this price. Minus 175 for the home team. Their bats, they've been hitting a lot better than the Rays, who have been struggling as of late, but I like both pitchers. And Littell struggled a little bit early on in the season, but has had 5 really good starts, only gave up 3 earned runs once of those 5. And then on the other side, I really like Gausman too. Kevin Gausman, sub 1 whip for him. So I think just full game under 8 here again. Anything for you? Any differences on your numbers?
Yeah, no, I do like that. Both bullpens are good, not great, but they're good. And you're right about, Littell. He's had a couple of good starts here in a row. Not a lot of strikeouts out of him.
But not a lot of walks either, right?
No, just 1 walk per game, which is nice. Kevin Gausman, though, at home has been pretty much lights out. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. That's surprising that he would give up 2 earned runs and only 4 base runners. So, a couple games for me, he give up a home run in those contests. One bad pitch. For Gausman, but he's got the kind of, stuff. I don't think he has it now, but at one point in his career, I said, this guy's a Cy Young Award winner, that type of stuff. He was that good. He just never got there, but he had some good years with the Braves, good years with the Giants, getting up there in age, but he's still a valuable big league pitcher. He's got a 0.97 whip on the season.
Yeah.
I rated him above average. I just don't have him in the hundreds. And you're right. I did make this total just 7. Tampa's offense well below average. Talked about this team now playing in a hitter's ballpark, that they're going to end up struggling on the road a lot of times. And they definitely struggled yesterday. 378 slugging over the last week is well below average. Toronto's offense has been really good. I think that's the only thing that scares me about this under.
You think they'll be able to get to Littell is what you're telling me?
I hope not. I mean, Littell on the road, he's been pitching a little deeper into games, and it's because he's not getting strikeouts, so he doesn't have to throw as many pitches as most guys would. I'm going to look at his median in all games, 6 innings, because he is pitching when he pitches at home. He's pitching in a pitcher's park. So 6 innings, 5.5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 3.5 strikeouts. So looking at him to give up 2 earned runs in 6 innings here, and I'm looking for Gausman to give up about the same. So I'm looking for a 2-2 game, going to the 7th, turning it over to the bullpens. Under 8 seems pretty good to me if it's 2-2 going to the 7th.
And now our crew has up here first 5. We can get under 4.5. But
yeah, no, that's not a bad bet either. I'm thinking it's only 4 runs after 6 innings. Yeah. So that might be the better bet, under the 4.5 for the game.
Minus 115. I like that we have
for the first 5 innings, under 4.5.
Yes. All right, let's go to the next one here. This is a pretty good pitching matchup. Yeah. Astros, Rangers. Hunter Brown has been awesome for Houston, and then Jacob deGrom's really starting to come into form. It's a low total as expected here, 7 at the South Point. Rangers, small favorite at home. I mean, I think it's an underplay here for me as well.
Yeah, well, look at these 2 pitchers. They're
And this is
dominating.
the start of a nice 4-game series between these two, so it should be fun all weekend.
And we only have 6 games, so a lot of times my red and blues get really dark on these days because there's only 6 games. But man, I think on a normal day, if there was 15 games, these pitchers would still be bright red, which means under. Hunter Brown has a 1.48 ERA on the year and a 0.9 WHIP. Just incredible. His median start, 6 innings, 4 hits, a half of an earned run.
Yep.
1.5 walks, 8.5 strikeouts. So tremendous numbers for him. And he's done it on the road. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. I think that's, what you're going to get from him. And we know Jacob deGrom almost looks like he's back to the Jacob deGrom of old, but he's doing it a little differently. He's not doing it with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He's really doing it with being smart and pitching. He's really, he was pitching when he was throwing 100, because if you're not, you're going to be all over the place, a lot of walks, and you're not going to be very good. But he was a pitcher then, but he's doing it now with a fastball. I think he's in 95, 96 range, which is still great. But he's really been spot on his last couple of starts. He's been really tough to hit.
10 strikeouts in his last start against the Tigers, who we have just seen really turn it on as of late offensively. Hunter Brown's only given up 1 home run this year, too. So, and I was talking about Littell. Well, Hunter Brown's only given up 3 earned runs once all season long. So both pitchers pitching very good.
And the Texas State rivalry game here.
Yep.
Rangers have won 5 in a row. I adjusted them up, and so my numbers tell me I'm betting the Rangers. Haven't bet them yet, but I will. But I did bet this game under for the game, under 7.5, down to 7 now. I think if I just saw the 7, I probably would bet that under as well. My number on the sheet says 7, but I take a half run off any pitcher that I have over 100 rating, and I've got one guy at a 120, that's deGrom, and Brown a 115. So both well over 100. Took a half run off for each and really made the total 6.
Curious what that first 5 is, if you could throw that up for me, Ryan. But also we talked about the Rangers a lot too, with their under streak at home and now on the year, 29, 14, and 1 to the under in all games. I don't have the home trend there, but 3.5 is the total they're giving you for the first 5, and it is juiced to the under, so minus 120. I don't think that's a terrible bet either.
And the good news is the roof will be closed for the game tonight.
Okay. So far, 2 unders. Let's switch it up. I think this last game might be a little bit different. We will not be going under here with the Athletics and the Dodgers. Pretty easy over if you had that yesterday between these two. Now we have Osvaldo Bido on the mound for the Athletics, and we have Matt Sauer. I believe he's just an opener here. He's just come out of the bullpen.
Not really anymore. He has come out of the bullpen, but they did give him a start, I believe. Maybe not. He's pitched 2 games.
He started in AAA a few games.
I think he's only had four outings this year. But 2 of them, one was a 4-inning outing and the other was a 5-inning outing. I want to look real quick here, Matt Sauer. Yeah, because I was very interested to see when I saw him on my logs that he pitched a home game in relief against Miami, and he went 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. The next time out at Miami in relief again, 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. Then he was in relief against Arizona, went 1 inning, so giving him a start, I feel like he's not an opener here. They've seen him go 4 or 5 innings already. Yeah. I think they're going to let him go and see how far they can get with him tonight in this game against the Athletics. Well,
do you think the Athletics will be able to get some hits off of him and some runs? It's a high total. It is 9.5. I'm just looking at these two teams and how their offenses have been the last 7 games, and both have been very good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, both are on fire. Very, very high weighted runs created number. Yeah, to go over yesterday with 2 really good pitchers. I went under. I was under 4.5. in the first 5 in that game. Had no chance. It was 2-2 after 2 innings, I think. But look at it. Sauer's got a big time fastball. He's a guy that early in his career in the minors and stuff, he racked up a lot of strikeouts. Now in the big leagues, obviously he's got to find his way through it. But I think looks like he's going to be a fairly decent pitcher in the big leagues. I think he was a good pickup by the Dodgers. My number's 9.5 though, Alex. I'm going to stay off the total. It's right there. The weather isn't great still in LA. It's still in the 60s right now. So, yes, if you like the game and you do like the Dodgers, you'd bet the Dodger team total over maybe.
I was just going to say that. That's kind of the only way you can look, right? What do you make of Beto here for the Athletics?
I have him rated as a below average big league pitcher. Decent on the road so far this year. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1.5 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. 41 innings on the year, but he's at 1.51 whip. Not good if you're facing the Dodgers. That's against everybody and against teams not named the Dodgers. His xFIP over his last 3 starts, 539. Hitters rating 254 against him, which isn't a huge number, but he's a fly ball pitcher. He's going to give up fly balls, which could end up to be home runs. And the exit velocity, one of the highest on my sheet for all pitchers, going at 91 today. Brown and DeGrom have the lowest exit velocity of any pitchers on the sheet, and that just makes sense. Those 2 guys are just that good.
Yes. I'm excited about that one today. 5:05 start. Okay, that's it for us for the games. I do just want to take a look at the AL and the NL and the odds, because earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken, you said that you did jump in with the Tigers, right?
Yeah, I bet the Tigers to win the American League and to win the World Series. I like the experience they got last year. I like what I've seen out of them. And
their pitching staff.
Their top 3 pitchers are just, I feel like they're lights out right now. Reese Olson at number 3 has been tremendous, and they feel like they can win anytime he steps on the mound. You got Flaherty at the 2 spot, and then Skubal the number 1 and the ace. I feel like they could go into any 3-game series and quite possibly be the favorite. I went and looked at my offensive ratings. So I use a formula that I use this year's numbers. I also use what they did last year, and I even go back to 2023, and I use 10% of 2023, just in case that guy had a great year in 2023. So when I looked at that formula hurts the Tigers, because when I looked at just this year's numbers, they were about 50 cents better offensively than what I have them rated. They really have had a good year. Everybody's having a good, well, not everybody. I think they got 5 guys that are having really good years. So I'm going to take a look at that. I asked my programmer to, hey, give me a column now that just gives me 2025 so I can make an adjustment off that, because maybe my values, I think I'm using I'm using plate appearances, because if a guy had 500 plate appearances last year and only 100 this year, I feel like they're more what they were last year. So I'm adding up those plate appearances. So it helps a rookie if a guy's only got 100 plate appearances this year and only had 100 last year. We're taking more than 50% this year, because it's still weighted to this year. So I'm going to take a look at that. I may tweak my offensive rating to get a little higher rating from what they've done this year. And that does take over. The further they get into the season, the more what they've done in 2025 does take importance, and the other years fall off the map for me. So, and I think that's, another 30 days from now when that starts to happen.
But you just want to be ahead of it with who is hot this year, not using their last. So that's why
I'm just looking right now because of that. You said that, and they are a good offensive team, and I was wondering why I had such a low rating on them. If I just use 2025 numbers, they've actually be right there with the Dodgers probably offensively. That's how good they've been.
Well, let's take a look at those AL and NL odds one more time. Do you know what you got the Tigers at to win the AL? And they are right behind us here.
I have no idea.
No.
Can't remember what it was.
Okay, well, there they are.
It was higher than 4-1 to win the pennant, I can tell you that. I think it was 6-1 to win the pennant and maybe 14 or 15-1 to win the World Series because of the Dodgers.
Right.
You're going to be a lot higher. It's going to be easier for them to win the pennant than it is to win the World Series. So it's not like a double formula, but I believe it was 6-1 and 15-1.
Yankees, of course, the small favorite, 3-1. Tigers are right there now, 4-1. Mariners behind them at 6-1. Red Sox pretty good, 7-1. So pretty expected with what we're seeing there. Guardians at 12-1, maybe one of the higher numbers there. But
Twins must have come down a little bit now with a 10-game winning streak. They were probably much higher.
Yeah.
Before that, but
so where would you like, or if other people, including myself, wanted to jump in and bet the Tigers now, shop around, try to find at least a 5-1.
You might be able to find higher than that. Yeah, you still might be able to find 6-1 on Detroit. And there's 12-1 right there. So I didn't get much better than that at 15-1 to win it all. I just thought you see this is what happens when teams put a good product on the field and they make a run and they get that playoff experience and they get close. The next year, they usually get over that hurdle and get another step further. And with a guy like Skubal, they've got a guy that can win any time for them. So if they got a Game 7 and he's on the mound to get to the World Series, you're betting him because he's that good. So I think Detroit's got a nice little team they put together.
How do they trade Flaherty and he goes to LA, wins, and then get him back too? So I don't know, it's funny, but maybe destiny there. Lucky for them. That's it for us for today. I'm looking in the chat now, seeing if there's any questions. Roger Long's kind of on the Jeff Parles train here. He says 6 NL teams rated higher than any AL teams. That's interesting. I want to know where your Yankees and Tigers maybe are, because while the NL is very
top loaded,
yeah. Curious where those AL teams would. We'll check in with that. Maybe you can look at that over the weekend.
Yeah,
I am very curious.
I don't think I have that big of a difference. I know I've got the Dodgers way better than everybody. My numbers are that much better on them, but
to say 6, I mean.
6 teams in the National League are better than anybody in the American League?
Yeah.
The Yankees are still rated very high. They still have a very good offense. I mean, I'd have to go through my ratings, do my offense, my starting pitchers, the average starting pitcher rating and the bullpen rating, and, put that together to be able to be educated on what I'm talking about there. So I just know I've got a really good pitching rating, and the bullpen, as I mentioned, the Tigers, second best bullpen in baseball. So I know they got a great pen. They got 3 great starters, and pitching is what it's all about in baseball. But then when we talk about the offensive ratings, their offensive ratings are matching up with the Dodgers, and that's why I can't use just that number,
right?
Because we know they're not the Dodgers, that they are going to come back to earth a little bit,
right?
They are going to have a run that they hit 200 over a 2-week period. Everybody has it. The Phillies had it last year, a 2-week run. They couldn't win a game. The Braves have been struggling offensively all year. Everybody in their lineup struggling. Wait till those guys start to put it together. They're going to have a 2-week run where they hit 400 and put up a ton of runs, when it starts to get warm.
Bullpens are interesting. I mean, really, I trust Cleveland because they were there all year last year, but the Padres seemed like they had one of the best bullpens, and now they've kind of just gone the opposite way. So maybe a lot of injuries, and that's a whole nother thing you got to keep up with when you're handicapping baseball.
It's a big part of it.
That's why I really like first fives and just kind of isolating starting pitchers and having good ratings on them. But JR jumped in because it wasn't under yesterday. Final was 6-4. Aviators stayed under that 11.5. It did move up though. And now the season-long trend, unders 15, 6, and 1. Another game tonight. Come out there and and see us if you're in Las Vegas. Frank Nicotero will be with me. It's us two will be the MCs for tonight's game. Nick said he got the Tigers at 15-1 yesterday or the day before, so he jumped in with Detroit as well. Everybody else in the chat, thank you. Dean Hill, he had a tough loss with me with the Warriors. Chris, hello. Anybody else that I missed? We talked to Risen Wave. Attila, hello. He is in Utah. So wondering where he was at the ballpark. Joey B, talked to him, and that looks like everybody. So thank you. I hope I didn't miss anybody last second there. Check in, make sure that there's no comments for me there. We're going to take a 30-second break. When we come back, whiteboard time and our best plays of the day when we come back.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, it is time for our whiteboard plays of the day. We will throw up our animation, and then I will have you kick us off so I can finish up here. I'm going to add a hockey or two.
Well, I wanted to take a look at the college baseball and see if I give out a loser the other day. Needed 3 outs in the ninth to win the bet, and we got the best of the number, but didn't get the W. Let me see if I can find a total here that I can put on the card, and then we'll do the whiteboard. So I've got 3 plays on there right now, but it'd be nice to get a college winner. And this is the last week of the college baseball season.
And then next week we have tournaments. So
yeah, all right. I found one play I'm going to do.
Okay, I'll start it off.
You
then.
start it out.
I am ready to go. So I got 2 baseball and 2 hockey. I'm going to stay off of NBA for a little bit. So 2 unders that I really like in baseball today. I'm just going full game here with these pitchers and these bullpens. We're going back to the Rays and the Blue Jays under that 8, getting even money if you bet it here at the South Point. Astros and Rangers under 7, full game. If you want to go first 5, I'll probably do a half a unit on that one as well, along with him. And then going to the ice, Capitals, I had them making it all the way. I think they're going to push this to 3-2 in the series, so plus 150 for Washington tonight. And then I'm going Dallas and Winnipeg under that 5.5. Hellebuck, let's see good home Hellebuck here in this one between these 2.
Yeah, I'm still looking at my numbers. I thought I had a weather game that I had a big difference in because I just saw the game, but I don't see where I wrote it down. All right. Well, I'm going to give you 4 plays today. I'll give you a couple tomorrow, even though I won't be on the show. I'll text you and give you a couple baseball plays. So NHL Washington, I'm going with the Caps plus the $150. I think they push this to a game 6. OKC in Denver, I'm going with the over. I think there's just too much firepower on both teams. I'm over the 217. And Major League Baseball, Houston and Texas, first 5 innings, under 3.5. I found minus a dime. I think you might have to lay $1.15. And then college baseball, Kansas playing West Virginia. Big game. 2 teams have played very well this year. 2 teams got really good Friday night starters, even though it's Thursday night. They do play Thursdays this week. Under 11.5 there in West Virginia.
All right, Kansas, West Virginia, under 11.5 is the free college baseball play of the day. And here's all of our plays. Couple do match there for us. So let's go Capitals. And no runs there. No fun in Texas today with just a nice pitching duel like we had last night at the Aviators. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think we might have a clip because we did want to talk about some of the schedules that came out. Do you have 3 more minutes?
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
sure.
I didn't really give you a choice.
I've only got 35 more college baseball games to do, and a conference call at 12, and another one at 1:30.
All right, Ryan, how do we look? Do we have a clip? Because all right, so all the NFL teams released their schedules yesterday. It's always a lot of fun. They've kind of made it a social media contest. This is the one that we found was one of the top ones. There it is, and that is actually the Los Angeles Chargers. We found very entertaining, did a whole Minecraft thing there, which is very popular. So they just get more and more creative. It's going to be a fun year. And John Spytek was out at the ballpark, the new GM for the Raiders, threw out a first pitch, and he did say, circle that first game, Raiders-Chargers. You know, we got Pete Carroll and Harbaugh, so should be a good one. Let's go to the trivia. Congratulations. We do have a new winner, which 8-time All-Star World Series champion and Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher threw his first of a record 7 no-hitters on this date in 1973.
The Roger Clemens.
Nolan Ryan.
Oh, Nolan Ryan.
I thought you were going there.
Clemens had 7. I don't know what I'm thinking.
1973.
How many Cy Youngs did Roger Clemens had? He had anyway, quite a few. Maybe he had 5.
Yeah. It was the Hall of Fame. But we have a new winner. That's the most important part here.
Pretty amazing. Nolan Ryan won 7 Cy Youngs. He couldn't throw strikes when he first came up. He'd strike out 12 and walk 7.
Oh.
Every game.
So Dean Hilt is the winner today. We appreciate you guys all playing along with us. It is a lot of fun. Makes the shows ton of fun and go by very, very quickly. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. For Kenny White, I'm Alex White and the rest of the crew. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for that little clip. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m., same place, same time here on the YouTube channel. This is Sports by the Book.